What's going on, everyone? It's Mike back again, and this is your match reaction. It's delayed, and it's delayed for a couple of reasons. So one, I was in the studio yesterday, so I wasn't able to make the match in person. I gave my ticket away to someone who wasn't able to go to the game before, so I felt quite good about that. Just give it away. So happy days. Good deed for the day done. I went down to London. I watched the game in the studio, in the Don Lobby studio. Always a great experience, and the guys, thank you for having me as always. And let's go on to the game. Let's talk about the game. So the first 5-10 minutes, I felt like Everton were just getting to grips with everything. The atmosphere was sensational. I heard reports, I seen videos. It was clearly brilliant. Again, as always, Everton fans welcome that team into Goodison Park with pride, with love, with passion. And that goes a long way. That goes a long way into the success of Everton Football Club, because, you know, we've all seen it. You know, the 85 European Cup Winners' Cup. You know, we saw the passion playing Bayern Munich, for example, at Goodison Park. I still hear stories about it. I still, you know, there's pictures of the boys, like, you know, like all standing close together, all chanting, all going mad, and we've seen it. And Everton is better as a cauldron of energy, of focus, of aggression almost towards an opposition. And I thought we went into the game yesterday with the right mentality. I felt like Frank set up correctly. I felt like the fluid front three would cause Chelsea problems, and all credit it did. So we'll go into that a little bit more. Gordon, Damari Gray and McNeil did cause issues. I probably would have liked to have saw a bit more from McNeil, but I'm sure that'll come. So I obviously wasn't overly disappointed by the team. He probably played the strongest team he had available. As the game progressed and as the game built up and we started, the first 5-10 minutes was a little bit odd, because Chelsea were getting a little bit of joy down the left-hand side. Raheem Sterling was pulling short, beating Patterson. But Patterson handled it okay, because if he was beat, there'd be somebody stepping in behind him. There'd be somebody coming across, Ben Godfrey or whoever would step across and support him. And Iwobi did really well at getting the ball and carrying it out, being that extra option, putting in a foot, tackling. And Iwobi really impressed me. As the game progressed, 10, 15, 20 minutes, Everton started to get a little bit more. Yes, Chelsea would have the ball. Yes, they would press, they would hit us. We'll talk about the corners in a minute. And they were always in our half. But when they wasn't, they were on the back foot, because we were pressing, we were counter-attacking, we were using that pace, we were letting Iwobi in the middle dictate, passing it left, passing it right. By the way, before we talk about any of these performances, Iwobi's distribution yesterday was the best I've seen in a blue shirt. His passing was nice, his moving was quick, a little bit of skill when he needed it, had a little bit of pace to get out of danger. Really happy with Decore in the middle of that park. So, with Iwobi in the middle of that park, really happy with that. Then, after about 20 minutes, we got hemmed in. We got absolutely hemmed in. Now, obviously, I'm going to skip over the injury in a minute, because I'm going to go back to it. Chelsea had 13 corners in the first half. Everton didn't concede for many of them. Yes, Chelsea were guilty of not beating the first man on several occasions, and they were guilty of wasting a few of them. But the facts are, there was enough balls that went into that box for people like Thiago Silva, Koulibaly, who have got real height and strength, to get on the end of. And actually, we restricted them to quite a lot. Really happy with that. So, from a set-piece perspective, we were vastly improved, vastly. And I'm not talking about, you know, Everton would have conceded 4 goals from them 16 corners yesterday, if that was last season. We absolutely would have, but we didn't. We were focused, and there was only one time when they got a header off and Pickford saved it comfortably. So, really happy from that perspective. From the wing-back perspective, Mykolenko, Patterson, getting up and down, left and right. Good. We're playing against Chelsea. We're playing against a really strong defensive unit, Defence FC, as I was referring to them on the Don Robbie show, because in front of that defence, there isn't a lot going on for Chelsea, to be honest. But that defence is absolutely concrete. Like, it is solid. They've got great players, Reece James, Chilwell. They've now brought in Cucurella alongside Azpilicueta, Thiago Silva, Koulibaly, that defence is absolutely solid. And they've got a sensational goalkeeper behind them as well. Arguably one of the best in the Premier League. Arguably the best in the Premier League. So we were always going to struggle because we didn't have that number 9, that focus when the ball was going left and right and it was being put into the box. And we were always going to struggle in that sense. But we did enough. We caused problems. Gordon cutting in on the left-hand side onto his right. Or you had Damari Gray doing exactly the same thing, playing the ball across the box. There was a lovely whipped-in ball. I think it was Mikalenko. Whipped the ball in, and Gordon was literally just too short for it. If that was Calvert-Lewin, I'd put money on that being a goal. Straight up. And Everton would have been 1-0 or 1-1 at that point, depending on when the penalty was in that regard. There was only one moment in that first half, 2 moments actually, for about 2/3 issues. Firstly, the goal we concede. So I'm not going to talk about the refereeing decision before the goal, the free kick. It happens in football, and I don't want to sit down and go on about it. It was a soft free kick. It probably shouldn't have been a free kick, but it was given. So I'm going to move on from that. The next phase in play, the Chelsea team have far too much space. Far too much space. Doucouré leaves his man completely. He steps away from his man. And if you watch it slow down, you can see the moment Doucouré goes, I should be in that position. And he makes that bursting run. He makes that run towards that Chelsea player, who at this point is receiving the ball on the turn and about to step into our box. Doucouré knows he has lost his man. Now, what he should have done in that situation is trusted Mina, who was standing in front of his man, to make himself big and wide. He got himself on the deck. He was going to stop that ball from going any further. Mina was there. Doucouré, brain fart, whatever you want to call it, had a moment of sheer stupidity and just plows through the Chelsea man. Like, it's a penalty. Some people are saying it's soft. I know if that was an Everton player, I would be screaming for it. Now, yeah, the argument is it wouldn't be given for Everton, but the facts are, against Chelsea, it's likely to be given. He was stupid for putting himself in that situation, and I wholeheartedly blame Doucouré for giving that penalty away. I didn't think Doucouré played particularly well yesterday. Some people have said he did. I personally didn't, but that's personal preference. But that moment was absolute stupidity from him. I now want to talk about the Ben Godfrey incident. So this ball is on the left-hand side of our pitch, or right-hand side, depending on what way you're facing. But you know which side it is. Ben Godfrey plays a terrible pass back to Pickford. It's terrible. It's shocking. And it goes out of play. It clearly goes out of play. It's not just a few yards. It is 3 or 4 yards out of play. The linesman doesn't give it, which he absolutely should. But my other argument is Pickford shouldn't go for it. He shouldn't. When it's 4 yards out of touch, don't go for it. And what made it even worse and exasperated the situation was he passed it straight to a Chelsea player. Now, Pickford had already looked fairly ropey at this point. So as soon as he's dived out, passed it to a Chelsea player, he has made Ben have to make a decision. Oh yeah, is this gonna... Pickford's got a better view. He can see he's over the line. Ben might not be able to from where he's standing. So Ben has made a conscious decision to go and challenge the Chelsea lad. And to be fair to him, he does really well. But in the process, I've seen the pictures, I've seen the images, I've seen everything. It looks horrendous, and I can only wish him the best of luck in his recovery. But his ankle clearly breaks, clearly. But my argument is, from a poor pass from Ben, complete stupidity again from Jordan, and a linesman that makes a crucial error by not raising his flag, why does that all happen? Now, if you can sit here and tell me who I think is to blame the most, I actually think Jordan is, because he doesn't just challenge and get the ball and get it back onto the pitch. He passes it to a Chelsea player. He doesn't even clear it into the Rosette. He passed it straight to a Chelsea player. And I sat there and you just sit there and think, why have you done that? Like, what is going on in that head? So that really frustrated me, the fact that Ben Godfrey appears to have broken his ankle for literally reasons we have put on ourselves, which have not been helped by that linesman who clearly shouldn't linesman a Premier League game. Really, really disappointed with that. As the second half come, now bearing in mind Everton have lost one of their centre-halves at this point, we played really, really well. We were good, we were strong, we were combative when we needed to be. We did everything that we could have done to get a result. We pressed, we challenged, we beat people, we put balls into the box, we were getting low shots off. But the issue you have is, when you have got centre-halves like Koulibaly and Silva, who, by the way, Koulibaly, if he didn't go off, would absolutely have been man of the match, they were like a rock. You couldn't get through them, you couldn't get round them, you couldn't get anywhere near Mendy's goal. And that is what was disappointing about the game, because if you have a number 9, you cause more problems, you could score more goals. And I truly believe if we would have had a number 9 yesterday, we would have scored. Whether we would have won the game would be on Doucouré's penalty decision in my mind. However, if we had a striker on that pitch, I firmly believe we would have scored. And that gives me positives. That gives me hope. It gives me the feeling that Everton are going to be able to do something constructive this season. Halfway through that second half, Mina, by the touchline, tweaks something. Literally, it was completely innocuous. He's nowhere near anyone, really. And he tweaks his ankle, and that's that. And he's out for weeks or whatever. So Everton lost, before Tarkowski, their 2 best centre-halves in their first game of the season for probably months. It is absolutely Everton, that is. So what I'm saying now is, if we are going to sit here and if we want to try and stay in the league, and then we are going to need more defenders. We are going to need better defenders, because Michael Keane coming into this side, I would argue, relegates us. So right now, we absolutely need a centre-half who has got a good injury record, who is a leader, who is strong in the air, who is comfortable on the ball. Now, there is a few. Everton have been linked with several during this window. One is being linked with us fairly heavily right now, which is Conor Cody, and people have a split decision on him. I get it. I absolutely get it. He is a die-hard Red. He took the piss when Everton were playing really poorly. I get it. I absolutely understand. But there is a bigger issue here. There is a bigger issue. You've got an Everton football team that have lost 2 centre-halves, who would definitely be in their first 11 if you played 3 at the back. You've got a team that's got no striker, so there is no goals and there's no clean sheets. That is a worry. We all can see the way that Frank wants to play, and actually the way that Frank wants to play, I'm fairly happy with. I am impressed with. I thought he did fairly well. So we need to identify centre-halves, and we need to bring one in. I'm going to give a little shout-out to Mason Holgate. I thought he was exceptional when he come on, and this is why I've always been an advocate for Mason Holgate. I've always said he is better when he is playing alongside someone who's comfortable. Tarkowski is absolutely that, and he has this authority about him where he will do whatever it takes to win a ball, and he will be aggressive if he needs to. So I am happy with everything, apart from the fact we need to clearly strengthen defence and up front. We've got a game against Aston Villa on Saturday. A game that, again, is going to be a tough fixture for Everton. Absolutely will be. So I can only hope that we bring in 2 additions. We're already bringing in Garner and Unana, by the way. So that'll be done. That's positive. But we absolutely need a striker. We absolutely need a centre-half. And if those two players are Bashwari and Connor Cody, go and do it. Just go and get people who can either hold the ball up and bring others into attack, turn and shoot, or play Connor Cody. Because I don't want to see Solomon Rondon playing next week against Villa. I don't. Because I feel like he will add absolutely nothing against their two centre-halves, who, by the way, were really poor against Bournemouth. So maybe we'd be all right. But the facts are, he isn't good enough. And I haven't really forgiven him for the Brentford game last season. I haven't forgiven him for when he got sent off. Like, I haven't. It was the most stupid thing I have seen, and I would not want him to be in an Everton shirt. So I'm cool with that. Doucouré, I really hope he doesn't start either, because I didn't think he was very good. And I could literally go down and list the moments where I thought, what are you doing? But we'll leave that. Dwight McNeil, I need to see a bit more. But it was his debut, I let him off. But I want to see a bit more. You know, I saw against Kiev a lad that will get on the ball, beat people, a little bit of skill, run into the areas, shoot. Didn't see that against Chelsea. It's a different team, a better team. I appreciate it, so I'm not digging him out for it. But I want to see a bit more, because I think he's capable of it. So, all in all, as a reflection on the game, I am 70% happy. Because I think we did the basics well, we defended well, we attacked as a unit fairly well. But we clearly need a number 9, and we clearly now need a centre-half. And that is abundantly obvious. And with Jordan probably needed to calm himself down a little bit, I think I feel better. But the facts are, as of right now, I think we're in a relegation battle. And if we strengthen these areas, I feel like we'll pull away from a relegation battle, because we were not bad yesterday. Not bad at all. But we need to add some strength and depth, because when they can make 5 substitutions and they're bringing on sensational footballers, and Everton have only got Dele Alli and Alan and Begovic as, say, recognised footballers that may change a game or add something or whatever, it's not going to help. The youngsters didn't get a sniff. You know, Mills and whoever was on at Warrington didn't get a sniff yesterday. So Warrington's actual distribution in his legs in the middle of the park might actually have helped instead of Doucouré yesterday. Like, genuinely. Like, that's not me saying something. That is genuine. Mills maybe have come on for Dwight McNeil rather than putting him in at right back, maybe play him a bit further up the park and let him run at players, because he's got the pace, he's got that ability to cross. Why not do that? So these are options that Everton have got, and we need to be seeing. But yesterday, I understand the substitutions, and I get the predicament we're in. Dele Alli added very little when he come on. And if we are going to be spending £10 million every 20 appearances, I think, in my opinion, we need to be very careful with the games that he plays, because he doesn't add a lot when he's on the pitch. I felt like it was almost like a training game for him yesterday. And I don't need that. I need a player who is going to have that intensity. Against Crystal Palace, 2-0 down, having to fight for your life, someone that could take the emotion out of the game was absolutely the right substitution. Dele Alli was the right substitution for that right particular moment. When you are 1-0 down at home to Chelsea with a whole half ahead of you, and you give him 30 minutes, he wasn't the right substitution. But that, we haven't got the options. So, lots of work to do for Frank and his team, but encouraging start. We've lost 1-0 to a team that will definitely be top 4. You move on. Guys, I hope you've enjoyed the match reaction. I've gone into it in a little bit of depth. I prefer doing it like this, if I'm being honest, rather than an instant match reaction, because your emotions there, your aggressions there, you start screaming and shouting, you're swearing, and I don't actually prefer that. And the way that the channel is going to be going in the future, there'll be a proper setup, there'll be, you know, an area to do this properly. It will look attractive. It won't just be me sitting out in a bedroom with a tripod talking to a phone. Take a few months, but we're getting there. So I want it to be a little bit cleaner, a little bit better, a little bit more visually and audio better for you guys to enjoy, and we are getting there. So guys, look, I'm leaving it there. Thank you for your support as always. That wraps up game week 1 for Everton, and we move on to a very difficult game against Aston Villa at Villa Park, a game that Everton lost last season. Steven Gerrard was a very happy man when we played Villa last season, because, you know, he beat us at Goodison as well, etc. So I'm not going to lie and sit here that I wouldn't want to beat Villa. I absolutely would. I'd love a little bit of revenge. We need a striker and a defender before we think about doing it, in my opinion. Otherwise, I think we're going to struggle. We then play Forest at Goodison, a game that Everton should get 3 points. And if we do not get 3 points in that game, then I will be concerned. Is that fair? Guys, peace.